mengucap janji harimu maafkan lagi tapi kini aku sadari. Assalamualaikum, Dr. Ahmad Salim, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
Halo, Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Halo? Halo?
Halo, Assalamualaikum.
Oh ya. Halo?
Ya, halo, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Oke.
Saya I came from South Sulawesi, Masuk University of Indonesia, Makassar.
Ya, oke, good. Tapi we'll waiting to
Presenter.
waiting. Ya, ya.
Iya.
Still waiting moderator.
Oh, moderator. Oke.
Ya.
Yes.
M Salim.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Ya,
Halo.
ya. Halo.
Ayo, Salim. Gimana
Ya,
hidupnya?
sehat.
Sehat, Alhamdulillah. Saya pernah 7 tahun di Jogja, Salim.
Di mana?
Tinggalnya di Yono. 7 tahun di Jogja.
Waduh.
Saya
Ya. Oke.
pernah 7 tahun. Yeah.
Iya. Sip.
Yes. Oke.
Ini udah mulai belum kan?
Belum.
Masuk ya suaranya ya?
Nah, ini.
Bu Yuli, Pak Agus, mohon info. Nah ya.
Baru pertama pakai ini.
Kalau di peserta nggak saya share. Di chat ya Pak Edo.
Makasih Bu.
Di chat ya Pak Edo.
Baik-baik Bu, terima kasih sudah saya terima.
Kalau buka Webex terus buka YouTube bisa nggak sih?
Bisa Bu, cuman suara yang dari YouTube-nya tidak masuk ke Webex-nya Bu.
Ya nggak apa-apa.
Oh, nggih, bisa Bu.
Bisa berarti ya? Oke,
Ya.
terima kasih. Kita masih menunggu Pak Dirjen. Pesertanya masih 200 ya, dari yang totalnya 1.000, hampir 2.000 kalau yang di kelas ini kemarin informasinya yang mendaftar.
Baik Bu, kita menunggu.
Bu Sahrianti saat ya, kalau ingin live dulu untuk setting kamera, sama pesertanya belum memenuhi kuota 1000 masih bisa masuk lagi. Silakan Ibu.
Udah, aku juga rekam. Suara saya masuk nggak, Mas Ali? Dua menit lagi ya. Mas, aku kok ramai suaranya, Mas. Mas ada. Aku kok ramai suaranya, Mas. Hah? Earphone-nya. Earphone-nya. Cek. Halo.
Ya, halo.
I still could not hear any voice on my headset.
Oh, the speaker. Terus,
Yes, I'm here.
oke.
Okay.
Prof Ibrahim. Prof Ibrahim from Prince University. Okay, still waiting. Tes. Ya, tes. Mas saya, iya mas. Mas saya, can hear my speak. Okay.
All right, so we are now going to start our meeting today. And I would like to thanks to everyone and welcome to our honorable speakers to our international seminar. First of all, I would like to give a warm welcome to Dr. Ahmad Salim from Islamic Teacher Education Department, Al-Mahata University. Dr. Ahmad Salim, can you hear my voice?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And I would like to also give a very warm welcome to our honorable speaker. I would like to say hello and good morning and assalamualaikum to Professor Dr. Ibrahim Nurong Rasaket from Prince of Songkla University, Thailand. Dr. Ibrahim, can you hear my voice? Dr. Ibrahim, can you hear my voice? Okay, probably Dr. Ibrahim still trying to get into our network. And I would like to give my warm welcome to Dr. Rose Maliza Moh Kamaluddin from International Islamic University of Malaysia. Dr. Rose, can you hear my voice? Hello, Dr. Rose, can you hear my voice? Dr. Rose, can you hear my voice? Hello. Okay, and I would like to also give a warm welcome to Mr. Tahrwi Ramdhani, PhD, also from International Islamic University of Malaysia, from Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Tahrwi Ramdhani.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Actually, the person who returns the salam is not me. So probably there is a conflict.
Assalamualaikum.
Oh, okay. So I would like a warm welcome to Professor Dr. Ibrahim. Professor Dr. Ibrahim, can you hear me?
Assalamualaikum. Dengar suara kan?
Okay, Professor Dr. Ibrahim, can you hear my voice? Yes. Yeah, I can see you on my screen. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And then I would like to invite also Dr. Rosmaliza. Can you hear my voice, Dr. Rosmaliza?
Yes, I can. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can start to have our international seminar today. I would like to welcome all of you to our international seminar on 2020 with the topic, the challenges of Islamic studies in facing the new normal. We all know that today we are having the COVID-19 pandemic all over the world, and it's affect the whole side of our community, not only social, economic, but also the education situation. And I would like to welcome all of you to International Joint Seminar, which is held in collaborative with Alma-Ata University, Prince of Songkla University in Patani campus, and also International Islamic University of Malaysia. Come with us today as our speakers, keynote speakers. The first keynote speakers will be Dr. Ahmad Salim, MPD, from Alma-Ata University, Indonesia, within the topic community response and also students' behavior changing to the society and social dynamics towards the new normal. And coming up as our second speaker is Professor Dr. Ibrahim Norang Saket from Prince of Songkla University, Thailand, within the topic Islamic studies and its challenges in a new normal age, looking from Thailand experience. And then the third keynote speaker will be Dr. Rosmaliza Moh Kamaluddin from International Islamic University of Malaysia. And the fourth keynote speaker is Dr. Rui Ramdain, PhD, from International Islamic University of Malaysia, with the topic Designing Impactful Learning Experience for Islamic Education in the highly future. We would like to thank to everyone who are willingly to come and join our international seminar today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome our first speaker to deliver his important material, Dr. Ahmad Salim, MPD from Alma Ata University. Dr. Ahmad Salim, can you hear my voice?
Okay, I hear clearly your voice.
Thank you. Before Dr. Ahmad Salim starts his presentation, I would like to inform to the whole speaker that the first speech will be delivered by Dr. Ahmad Salim. The second speech will be delivered by Dr. Ibrahim, and then the third speech will be delivered by Dr. Rasmaliza, and the last speech will be delivered by Tahrwi Ramlin, PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Ahmad Salim, MPD from Alma Ata University.
Ini sekarang tertulis community response and student gitu ya.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya.
Thank you very much.
Ya.
Thank you very much to Mr. Srimani who give time to talk about my topic.
Oh, itu yang sekarang nih.
But before I talk about my topic, first of all, I would like to thank to God for His mercy and blessing, so we can attend this meeting by hard conditions. And so I will thank to honorable speaker,
Oke. Iya, Pak Nah, ya,
Profesor Dr.
Nah, bagaimana minta sertifikatnya, Pak? Nah, wakilkan Kak. Makasih. Iya, Assalamualaikum.
Oh, the very noise. I'm so sorry, the station is very noise. Okay, can I continue my speaking?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I will.
Saya datang satu nama saudara tanya di atas sudah turun.
Can I continue my speaking? Can I continue my speaking?
Yes, sir, please. Thank you.
Okay, I think this condition is very noise.
Ini terbatas sudah keluar.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank to Professor Dr. Ibrahim from SU in Songkhla University, Thailand, and then to Dr. Miss Rus Maliza from International Islamic University Malaysia, and from Dr. Ramdhani from International Islamic Malaysia. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to talk about my topic or my theme. I would like to discuss my topic about community response and students' behavior changing to society social dynamic toward the new normal. Actually, as we know, the conditions, the coronavirus has been influenced on many aspects in human life, such as in academic sector, social sector, culture, and education sector, of course. We know that coronavirus has spreads in many countries, not only in Indonesia country, but also in many countries in the world, including in Asian nation countries, in Malaysia, Thailand, and other countries in South Asian countries. It is impacted to many aspects on human life, such as in economic sector, social sector, culture, and education sector also. And economic sector, we can see that negative impact from coronavirus. Yeah. That's industry has been badly damaged, like maybe travel industry traveling be cancelled, banned from flights to any places. It's make, of course, the industry mainly in traveling had been badly damaged. In economic sector, we can see that the loss in material and international business, because maybe the government issues the social and physical distancing. So of course this condition reduce the people mobility people mobility to the society, and poor cash I'm sorry poor cash flow in the market, of course. So finally, there's condition affected to low income family. And then in social aspect, we can see that increasing unemployment, criminal or social tension or competition in society. That's economic sector, of course, that has big impact to the social sector. That we know that because maybe the family have low income family, it's causes by many criminal in society, and then it can be make competition confrontation in the society. So maybe in culture we can look at many forcing cancel cultural festival in the world. Like in Indonesia, maybe we can see the disruption or cancellation of cultural, religious festival or event, because maybe distancing with our peer and family number. These conditions make changing of the culture in Indonesia, especially maybe in promotes villages or in but also in maybe can happen in the big city like Jakarta, Surabaya, and other city in Indonesia. And then maybe in educational sector, we can see that many school and university will be closed. We see that learning activities too by daring on online, so standardized testing being delayed, and teacher and staff work from home, so students stay at home, and of course it is more need parental care, because maybe in a normal condition, maybe the parent who are uh, father and mother, maybe usually uh, using the time to walk in the outside home, but now they must work from home. So maybe of course it is need parental care to their child or to their uh, 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 to their child or to their uh, daughter or to their son. And then we can now community responding to social change. We can know that from or based on the theoretical background, responding to social change, can be classified into three aspects. The first is refusing or rejecting. Refusing the meaning of resist on the role of social and physical distancing that implemented includes the mask worship, for example, maybe refuse wear a mask, refuse to wash hand and others. And then we can see on the second classification, it is adaptation. It means that receiving the rule of physical distancing as maintain distance. For example, wear mask, wash hand, and take responsibility for their own health and that of those around them. So the third the third number is modification. We can know that it is just not the receive or the role of maybe a protection about coronaviruses, but alteration or change, usually to make something work better, improving some of activities into different from usually. For example, maybe wear mask with many accessories, using uncrowded hotel to work and others activities. I think maybe online seminar in this day, in this one of the example modification academic activity that in normal normal condition we usually had the seminar by face to face, maybe in hotel, in campus, and in others places. But now we can look at the academic activities that is using online tool. Okay, and then how about student behavior changes in our academic? The coronavirus pandemic has surprised adoption of distance learning at all education level, not only in university level, but also uh, in medium level or in linear level and student level and in the school. I mean, the impact of the learning by online media is changing the student behavior. It's running on the mass activity as such as in demonstration skill and then attitudes, maybe in virtual character, in active dimension, in affective dimension. I mean, so it is the current virtual century and forcing students to shift to virtual activity for anything. We can see that now students, mainly in university, many of them read by journal by online. I mean, online book, virtual library. So using virtual laboratorium, using many features of methods such as a group video program that allow teacher and student to meet and conduct classes over on the internet. But unfortunately, let's demonstrating virtual like role model, difficulty of internalization character, uncontrolled student activities, and others. We can see that maybe no one can imagine or predict thing can be go back to the normal condition no? When we finishes this condition, when the condition can be back to the normal condition. No anyone can predict that condition. So maybe the it is shifting good attitudes, but unfortunately, not all students have some condition, mainly in Indonesia. From the poor family or remote religions, maybe there's lack of digital facilities. They are very difficult to communicate or to transfer their idea or their learning teaching process by student to the teacher. So it is make these conditions is very makes to the student, mainly from the poor family student or remote religion student. And then maybe we can these conditions make me shock by all the student, especially to the poor from the poor family and remote religion in many villages or many places. For example, in Indonesia and maybe in other country in Malaysia and in Thailand also that's happened. Maybe like that's are enough from me. In future or in the maybe next we will discuss about my topic. Thank you very much, Mr. CK.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad Saleh, for giving us such insightful speech about the topic. Okay, can everyone hear my voice? Hello. Okay. All right. Hello. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad Saleh, for giving us the speech about community responses and also students' behavior changing in the society, social dynamics toward the new normal. Then, if you have any questions, everyone, you can ask your question through the chat feature that is there over there in your laptop or in your cell phone on the top left side button. You can click the chat and then the chat symbol, then you can type your question over there. Our committee will take note on your question, and then I will help you to deliver the question to the speaker. So we are now going to step forward to the second presenter. We will have Professor Dr. Ibrahim Narong Sakit to present his topic. Professor Dr. Ibrahim, can you hear my voice? Hello, Professor Dr. Ibrahim.
Ya, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So,
Can I
ladies and
start?
gentlemen, yeah, let me introduce you to the audience first.
That means I can start now?
I will introduce you to our audience first.
Okay, yes.
Yes. So, Professor Dr. Ibrahim Harun Sakit will deliver an Islamic studies and its challenges in a new normal age looking from Thailand experience. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Dr. Ibrahim Narung Sakit is PhD graduate from University of Malaya, Malaysia in 2004 and have some important publications such as Ethnic Strategic Movement in Political Representation, exploring some key conceptual and theoretical consideration, the Journal of Civil and Legal Science in 2019. Professor Dr. Ibrahim Narung Sakit also has two interested subjects. The first one is education, curriculum and instruction, and the second one is Islamic education itself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Dr. Ibrahim Narung Sakit. Please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to express my highest thanks to the organizer who has given me this opportunity to share my experiences and my knowledge to all brothers and sisters. In fact, my specialization is in education, but when I assigned to present or to talk about Islamic study, it is a big challenge for me. But since our topic is related to Islamic studies, so I try to do my best to share my knowledge and experience looking from Thailand experiences. Although I try to look at the case by using the experience from my own country, but I do believe that we can benefit some from my presentation. When we deal with the current, that we call new normal, so we have to divide into many periods. The current period that had been talked by our brother, the first speaker, that is the current situation that nearly all of us are facing. And in a short time in the future, things will be a little bit different, and in the long run, things will be drastic change. Brothers and sisters, since my topic is about Islamic study and its challenge in a new normal, I will not spend my time to give definitions of new normal, But a little bit, I want to touch about the definition of my topic that I'm going to talk today. Islamic study, what I mean by Islamic study in my presentation is a pure Islamic study, which does not include Islamic education, which is my field, because here I am a man of education rather than a man of Islamic studies. Before I go to the challenge, which is challenging Islamic study in my country, and I do hope it will challenge you shortly in the future. We, as a professor or lecturer in university, we should predict what will happen in the future. If our prediction is right, that means we go faster than others. But if our prediction is not right, maybe we will be left behind. But should not be adhere ourselves with the current situation, because time by time it changes. Because the new normal that we are in will change if vaccine is found. If no vaccine, the situation will be otherwise. But I do believe that since the spreading of COVID-19 starting from December 2019 until now, it's about seven months and spreading throughout more than 261 countries. So nearly every country is searching for finding a vaccine to face this COVID-19. And we do hope that vaccine will be found very soon and the situation will be changed. It will unlike the current situation. Before I go direct to challenge, I would like a little bit to trace back to the history of Islamic study in Thailand in particular. So maybe they will be different from Muslim majority country. But I do hope if you are not well prepared, if you do not well prepare in the future, maybe things that I'm going to talk will face you shortly in the future. Brothers and sisters, when we are dealing or trying to talk about Islamic education, Islamic studies first, I can trace back to 14th century because 14th century here, first pondok was founded. First pondok was founded, and since this institution was founded, and firstly Islamic study was introduced or had been introducing in this institution until now. If we trace back to 14th century until now, 21st century, which means that pondok has a long journey, 7th century, that means more than 700 years. I dare to say here that more than 600 years, Islamic study has been highly respected by the community and society. And those who graduate or finish their study will be highly respected by the community. More than 600 years. And nearly every educational institution here demand from the government that Islamic study should be offered in every school which Muslim are majority number of students in that institution. Which means that Islamic study is very significant and very important. And of course, we cannot deny that Islamic study is very important because Islamic study will relate to our daily life. So Islamic study will be subject or discipline which is highly respected and demanded by the society. And we think that this thing will last long and continuously happen. But this is my topic. But last decade, the photo or the scenario of Islamic study in Thailand is changed upheaval. We can say drastic change. Before that, Islamic study is highly demanded by the society. Islamic study is a subject, Islamic study is a major that many students and many society, many parents expect their kids to study. But now situation is changed, especially or particularly Islamic studies in university level. If we see the history of Islamic study in Thailand, particularly in the south of Thailand, Islamic study has had firstly offered in university in 1981 by College of Islamic Studies, Prince of Songkla University, the place that I'm teaching now. But during that time, the name of the college just was a part of the section in the humanity. But after some time, when the College of Islamic Study was founded as full College of Islamic Study, and during that time, many want to come and Islamic Study subject major become a very famous major that nearly everybody want to come and study. And after that, the Muslim in this region feel that Islamic study offer in the government university is not enough or inadequate with the demand, with the need of the people in this region. And then Yala Islamic College was founded and later on become Yala Islamic University, and nowadays this university become Fatani University. But not only College of Islamic Study and Fatani University are offering Islamic studies, but many universities they offer Islamic studies because Islamic studies was very significant for their need. But last decade, I mean 10 years, we trace back 10 years from now on, we can see that number of students who want to study Islamic study, I mean pure Islamic study, including pure Sharia, continuously reduce. The number of students of Islamic study continuously reduce until some university, first year student of Islamic study, number of students less than 15 students. Previously, number more than 60. Previously, university has to select those who are coming to study Islamic studies, but now we cannot select. Even number is less than 50% compared to the previous one. So that's what I try to present to you, all of you, that now Islamic study is facing a very big challenge. Even before that, globalization, digitalization, and new normal as we are facing now become a big challenge for Islamic studies. Big challenge for Islamic. Then after that, I try to go the solution how to do that. When we are in the new normal, as the first keynote speaker mentioned, that everything will be like what the first speaker said, we have to work at home. Our students should be at home and use a Zoom or Google Team and all this. Now we are in very similar situation. It seems that they have a less problem, less challenge than Islamic study. Because Islamic study, we more depend on classical methods of knowledge, a classical method of teaching. Our scholar, our sheikh come from Middle East and less knowledge about technology compared to other. Before that, we are facing a big challenge, the reduction of number of students because of many reasons. And now when we are facing with a new normal that we have to go and depend on high tech, depend on technology or innovation, we see that our lecturer, our previous method of teaching become a little bit obstacle for a challenge for the Islamic studies. If we cannot overcome this, so we are in very serious, very chronic stage. So we have to solve the problem. I know that maybe this thing will not happen in Indonesia because Muslim are majority. Maybe Islamic studies still become a very famous subject that many students want to come and study. And not in Malaysia and not in Brunei, but this happened to Muslim minority country. The main thing or the main problem that we predict why it's become like this because Islamic study subject or those who are majoring in Islamic study, our aim or our philosophy of Islamic study, we don't produce workers at other subject. You study business administration, nurse or something. When you finish your study, your subject will help you to get a job because it seems that other subject they produce graduate for getting job after graduation. But Islamic study, we don't focus on this. We focus on knowledge. So maybe because of this and pass with other problem and make Islamic study so far get less respect or demand from the community. And brothers and sisters, the challenge Islamic study does not come from the new normal, but come a little bit before this, and new normal accelerate Islamic study to overcome this challenge. So how to, okay, time run very fast. So how to solve this problem that we are using in Thailand? I try to go to conclusion so that I will not waste time for other speaker. Brothers and sisters, I try to predict that if we want to overcome or solve the problem that we are facing, in short term and a long term, first we need to produce or we have to recruit the professional staff. So which means both lecturer and supportive staff must be professional. We have to train, and what I mean is Islamic study. We have to train our scholar, which are well educated from Middle East, but not well known and not well trained by using high technology or technology. Or we have to provide our supporting staff to support our scholar to make Islamic studies more interesting. Otherwise, we will depend on the classical method of knowledge. Maybe it is okay, but in the current situation, it's very difficult to do that. It seems that it's very difficult to use the system of talaqi to sit together with the scholar, with the ulama. So we have to try to find a program or activity or any kinds of activities that we can produce professional staff, professional human being, including professor, including scholar and staff. And the second thing that we have to focus on is smart curriculum. Our Islamic study, so far, its nature is quite pure Islamic study. But in Muslim minority, it seems that pure Islamic study is not, does not fulfill their need. If they want this, better to go to Middle East, to Medina or to other. But in Muslim minority country, I hope that including your country, that we need a smart curriculum for Islamic study, and Islamic study should be should be apply Islamic study, not just pure Islamic study. Because apply Islamic study will fulfill the need of the current student, particularly in Thailand experience. We have to think about many subjects like marketing for Islamic studies, economic for Islamic studies, technology for Islamic study, rather than we just offering only Aqidah, Hadith, and Al-Quran. But this does not mean that we have to forget this subject. No, this subject still important, but we have to add other subject to the curriculum of Islamic study, which we mean by smart curriculum, marketing for Islamic studies, so that when they finish their study or they graduate, if they don't become independent preacher, they can use knowledge from their education to find their own job in the future. If we can do like that, I do believe that Islamic study will be important and significant as it was in the past. And then on the same time, since the new normal, we most concerned with online. So we try to do our best how to digitalize our subject through online and through any innovation. It depends on the situation, depend on the proper method that we think it is good for a new normal age. And then, of course, when we have a smart curriculum plus with the online or digitalize our curriculum, and automatically our curriculum will be internationalized. That means we have a very vast and very big area of Islamic study. Not only in our university we can offer, and we can offer to other university. On the same time, like your university, no need to come, and we can have 2 degrees by sitting in our country, and your students sitting in your country, we can offer double degree. We can do with a mini university, 3 university, we can offer 1 degree. If we can develop smart curriculum and we use the new innovation, because so far as our seminar, you are sitting in Malaysia, some sitting in Brunei, some sitting in Indonesia, but I'm sitting in Thailand, but we can talk together and we can discuss, even we can teach. So in the future, even though we can find a vaccine to solve the problem, we can go to Indonesia, but I do believe such a thing that we are using now still going on. But try to develop until our method is highly recognized and become very smart method of teaching in a new normal. And during that time, we can benefit a lot. So far, if there is no COVID-19, no virus corona, so we still depend on the former previous method of teaching in university. But since the COVID-19 come, and we face with that, and we call new normal, and we find a way to suit our method of teaching to fulfill the requirement of the current situation. And if we develop from the current method that we are using, hopefully in the future our method will be smart method and will be internationally recognized. And during that time, our relation, our collaboration between university and university will be easy and faster. No need to come, and we can do. But of course, now it is very difficult to make other accept our current. For example, Thailand, if we want to offer a double university with 1 university by using online, maybe it is very difficult to be accepted by our Ministry of Education. But if we develop our smart method, that means we go beyond what we are doing now, and do hope in the future can be accepted. Because sometimes a bad thing, COVID-19 is a very bad thing, but sometimes it's become opportunity for us. Try to change the problem to be opportunity. And then when later on we have to internationalize our curriculum, and we have to do a good marketing for our curriculum. So these are some of the solution that I tried to propose to solve the problem that we are facing in Thailand. Maybe it will not happen in your country, but now all university which are offering Islamic study, they do suffer with number of students which is reducing rapidly, and it seems some university have to close down the program of Islamic studies. While Islamic study is very important and significant for our daily life. Maybe it will not happen to your country, but you have to prepare your best. Maybe it will happen shortly or sometime in the future. And brothers and sisters, this is what I can share my experience to all of you. Maybe it's not not related to your country, but at least you know what happened in my country. If you cannot benefit from that, but your contribution can benefit a Muslim in this region. Thank you very much indeed. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Ibrahim Narosakit from Prince of Songkla University, who has delivered in Islamic studies and each challenges in a new normal age, looking from Thailand experience. We have learned how, especially South Thailand has experienced a very long history of Islamic study, and how Prince of Songkla University, Patani campus, and also Patani University has struggled and facing so many obstacles in developing the Islamic studies. And we also have heard a lot from Professor Dr. Ibrahim Narosaket about how to train Prince of Songkla University, especially scholar from who has graduated from Middle East and also other countries, which are very good in terms of knowledge, but not really or less exposed by high tech technology. And probably guests and also the audience can ask Professor Dr. Ibrahim later on how they transform from let's say the traditional teaching and learning processes into a high-tech teaching and learning processes. And Professor Dr. Ibrahim Narosaket has also proposed the smart curriculum and also collaborative education in the future to make or to take back the important or the significance of Islamic studies itself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us again in our international seminar. And also thank you for Professor Dr. Ibrahim Narosaket, who has just delivered a very insightful topic for our seminar today. And for all of you who has just joining us again to the seminar, I would like to welcome to all the participants. You are now on our international seminar, which is held by Alma-Ata University, Prince of Songkla University from Thailand, and also Islamic, International Islamic University from Malaysia. We have just got the first and the second keynote speaker from from Dr. Ahmad Salim, Alma-Ata University, and also from Professor Dr. Ibrahim Narosaket from Prince of Songkla University, Patani campus. And we are now stepping to our third keynote speaker, which is Dr. Rosmaliza Mauh Kamaluddin from International Islamic University of Malaysia, Malaysia. Professor Dr. Rosmaliza, can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Dr. Rosmaliza. But before we have the presentation from Professor Dr. Rosmaliza, let me introduce to you her short CV first. Okay, please give me a minute. Okay, so Professor Dr. Mo Kamaluddin, Professor Dr. Rosmaliza Mohu Kamaluddin, PhD, is a staff lecturer, faculty member of Kuliah of Education International Islamic University of Malaysia, and she is in a department of curriculum and instructional technology of Kuliah of Education International Islamic University of Malaysia. She has some important industrial attachment such as Open Learning Global SDN BHD, and also some courses taught such as Management and Evaluations of Instruction Technology for postgraduate students, and also design implementations of education software also in postgraduate study, and model of teaching also in postgraduate study, managing information technology, instructional design and multimedia, internet applications in education, fundamentals of multimedia technology, information technology and teaching and learning, creative and innovation in education, curriculum instruction, also in graduate and also undergraduate, postgraduate studies. And she is also has some important research such as leadership style and strategies across Malaysian universities, and also identifying the critical factor for successful completions of online learning on MOOC, or massive open online course platform in Malaysia institutions, and so on and so forth. So, in short, we can probably introduce, or we can probably recognize Dr. Rosmaliza as someone who are very techy in teaching education. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Rosmaliza, who has a very, very long CV. Dr. Rosmaliza, thank you.
Thank you very much, brother. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you very much to the organizer for inviting me to this seminar. I'm blessed to be here. And thank you to all the participants who are with us. I hope that today we can have a very fruitful knowledge sharing session. Yeah. So today I am going to talk about what is going to be like after coronavirus, right? So let me just share my screen first because I have a presentation. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I hope all of you can see my slide. Yes. Mr. Moderator, can you just let me know if you can see my slide so that I can go on?
Yes, it's very clear on my.
All right.
Very clear.
All right, thank you very much. So this is my topic for today, designing impactful learning experiences for the hybrid future. And I'm zooming in specifically to Islamic studies. All right, so this is what our conference is about. We're talking about the future of Islamic studies after COVID-19. Okay. This is what John Dewey said. John Dewey is an educationist back in the early 1900s. Yeah. So John Dewey said education is not preparation for life, but education is life itself. Therefore, when we talk about education, it's not something separate, but it is something that is embedded within us. It is something that we live by. Even in Islam, lifelong learning concept is the one that is advocated by our Islamic scholars. Education is all about lifelong learning. All right, and this is what we are going to look at this point of time. Okay, now hang on. Yeah, I'm having a bit of problem here. Okay, I'm back. I have a little bit of technical problem here. Hang on, yeah. Wait. Uh-oh. Okay, hang on. I'm going to stop sharing for a short while. I'm going to try and share again.
Okay, please go on.
Okay. Okay. All right, now my slide is back on. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is what we're going to go into, right? And also, talking about education of our lives, I'm sure education, or when we went to school, we went to any education session, I'm sure there is that one specific class that we have ever attended that sticks to us till this very day. It could be somewhere from our kindergarten, it could be from our primary school, from our secondary school, from our days in college. Now, there must be that one class that you have ever had that is the best one and sticks with you until now. I want you to go back to that memory, piece of memory, and I want you to tell me what was it that you remember the most about that class, right? This is a class that you attend as a student, not as a teacher, as a student. What was it that you remember the most? I would like all of you to share that experience with me. Can you type into the chat box? Tell me the one thing that you remember the most about that class. It could be maybe, the topic was so interesting, or you had very good food in the class. What was it? What was that thing that you remember the most? Can you type into the chat box? Okay. Let's see. Okay, you guys can see my chat box screen. So I would like all of you to share with me. Yes, Shahya Kasuma already shared. The teacher is so interesting. Thank you. Anybody else? What was it that you remember the most from that particular class? Yani said opportunities. Anything else? Anything else that you remember? What was it specifically? Was it, you had a very good conversation with your friends? The activity was interesting. What was it? Can you just share with me a little bit? Yeah. Type into the chat box. Yeah. So that we can see. What was it that you remember the most about that class? So Chahya said she remembered the teacher. Yani said she remembered the opportunities. Maybe everybody else can relate yourself back to that class. It could be something from your math class, something from your English class, right? So there must be that one piece of memory that you remember the most. Okay, and let me just go back to my slide. So all of the things that you remember from learning, most people would remember things that they do, the people that they had conversation with. These are all called experiences. We remember experiences more than we do remember content, right? We don't remember specifically what topic we learned, but we do remember that the teacher did something very interesting. The teacher took us to the field trip. We remember our friends having done some good activities with us. But we don't specifically remember maybe that math formula that we did, or that piece of grammar information that our teacher was trying to get us to remember. The experience is the one that we remember. The content will come along with that experience. Therefore, taking into consideration that people remember experience more than they do content, why don't we design our learning experience rather than focus on delivering the content? When we talk about learning as an experience, right? Albert Einstein says, learning is experience, everything else is information. The thing is, education nowadays, we are focusing too much on covering the syllabus, delivering everything that we have in the book. But we forget that learning is experience. Now we have to design that experience so that when people go through our class or our learning sessions, they would remember it. they would remember it for life, right? It sticks with them because information is easily found and easily accessible with technology nowadays. What would put us apart from people who are just delivering lectures, people who are just, teaching the book? It is the experience that counts. What we go through, what you go through right now, sitting in this conference, right, is an experience. Now, whether that experience is memorable or not, it depends on the person who is delivering the experience for you. Okay? So that's why I want to focus on designing the learning experience for Islamic education. Like Prof. Ibrahim said, Islamic education in Thailand might be in trouble, but if we can design the whole learning experience for students who go through Islamic education, then we can get the buy-in not just from Muslim families, perhaps from people who are interested in learning about Islam, because learning about Islam is such a wonderful experience. That is what we want to focus on, right? So to design that learning experience post-COVID-19, people always ask this question at this point of time because people don't know. We don't know this answer. What will education look like post-COVID-19? What will it look like? We all don't know, right? But to me, I look at this as something not new, but rather we need to amplify what the educationists in technology are trying to advocate. There are 4 shifts in learning that I see happen post-COVID-19 because of our awareness on the good things that come out of technology, because everybody has to go through technology in education right now to deliver education. So now we see that there are very, very strong points or very strong, usage of technology that we can integrate into education right now. So the first shift that I see is in terms of space, from a public space to a personal space. When we go to school, education is delivered in a public space where everybody is there, all the students are there in the university, in the school, the space is public. But now when education comes home, it has gone into our personal spaces. We are in front of our device in the comfort of our homes or in the comfort of wherever we are. Therefore, education has come into our personal space. Yeah. Second, the shift in curriculum. Because we have moved from a public space to a personal space, the one-size-fits-all curriculum can now be designed to be individualized and differentiated. We can now address the differences in learners. Each learner is unique, is different. They have different needs, they have different gaps, they have different paces in learning. Therefore, the curriculum that we design now can be individualized and differentiated to cater for all these needs. Yeah, we no longer have to listen to the same lecture. We no longer have to do the same assignment. There can be customization of curriculum so that each learner can maximize their understanding and their takeaway from the learning itself. Third shift, it is in the form of assessment. Now, we all know that public exams are perhaps almost, not desirable to be done online because of accountability factors. Therefore, education has shifted from an exam-centric one to meaningful formative assessments. Now, this is very important for Islamic education because Islamic education is not for academic purposes. It is not meant to be studied for exams, but sadly it is. Okay? For Islamic education, this assessment piece has got to be put a lot of emphasis in, where we do meaningful formative assessments. We do more of assessment for learning rather than assessment of learning. Yeah, assessment for learning meaning when we assess, when we evaluate the student at that particular point of time when they are supposed to master certain learning outcomes. It is not to evaluate or to grade, but rather to see where we can further improve the teaching so that the students can master that piece of knowledge or skill. Okay, so that's in terms of assessment. The fourth shift is in the family or parental roles in education, from a supporting role to a frontliner kind of role. Now, frontliners are very popular right now. So in terms of education, before this, parents come and see the teacher to see their progress, to get report cards, and at home, parents will provide the resources for their children to learn, more of a supporting role, right? Sending them to school and all that. But now, when education has come into the homes, the family has taken more of a frontliner approach where they themselves are the ones who will be the references for learning. So the children have got no direct access to the teacher because they don't go to school. So now they have their parents and their family members whom they have to refer to when they have questions. So these are the four shifts in learning that we see happening during the movement control order in countries around the world. So this is going to go on for quite some time after this. Why? Because I see the future of education post COVID-19 as being hybrid. This is what hybrid is, blended learning, right? So the future is hybrid because we now see what technology can do, what it can bring to the table for education, and we acknowledge the strength of being face-to-face, the physical presence when we do learning. We have to go to school, university, so there's two sides now that have to merge together and combine seamlessly to provide that meaningful learning experience that we were talking about earlier. Hybrid means we have to blend online learning with meaningful face-to-face. I put in the word meaningful because before this, when everybody went to school, there was not much emphasis done on online learning. So when we go to class, typically the teacher will preach, will talk, will lecture, and then the kids will take home homework and things like that. So now, after COVID-19, all of those one-way communication can be done via online. We can record lectures and stuff like that, put our slides, put our notes online. When we come to class, we meet physically. The time that is spent in class has to be meaningful, all right? It has got to be interactive for everybody. So now let's look at what online learning can do in this hybrid world that we're talking about. Online learning is good for repository, lecture bank. We can put all our references, slides, ebooks, notes, and it is a learning management system. Yeah, we can do interactive activities such as we can do gamification quizzes, like all of those Kahoot, Quizizz, Quizlets, and stuff like that. And it is a very good knowledge resource. There's a lot of online courses that we can take. There's a lot of resources that you and I can contribute to. Yeah, in terms of videos, in terms of infographic, in terms of articles and stuff like that. And online learning is good for global outreach. It's like right now, we are connected. We're in different countries, but we are connected. And this is a very powerful side of online learning that we are yet to harvest. Like Prof. Ibrahim said, we can offer one degree, but students have the experience of learning from three different universities in 3 different countries. And we can also leverage on social media to get all of our teaching out to more people out there, just, not just to our students in our campus. So this is the strength of online learning. Next, when we talk about face-to-face, it has got to be meaningful. When we are in class, it has got to be interactive, active learning, maximum student engagement. Consultation has to be meaningful, because now when the students have watched our lecture videos and have read all of our notes prior to coming to class, they should come with a lot of questions. There can be community of inquiry, and we can do role modeling, and then authentic assessment can be done in the class. No longer pen and paper assessment, because that can be done online. So authentic assessment, we can observe our students, we can do more qualitative assessment when it comes to meaningful face-to-face session. So this is what I see as being the future after COVID-19, what education will look like, especially for Islamic education. If we do all this, then we will get the buy-in from everybody. Learning Islamic studies is so fun and meaningful, and it gives us that meaningful, impactful learning experience. All right. Teachers can engage in face-to-face and also online students by first grabbing their attention, and then you have to make the materials relevant to the students. How can they use this in real life? How is Islamic education not just about memorizing? It's not just about, the ritual salat. It's not. How can this be relevant? How can we, put the input to the students that what you are learning is for your life? And we have to build our students' confidence when we teach them. We have to provide feedback to all of our students when they go through the assignment, when they do any activities. We have to feedback, so that with the knowledge that they gained from us and the skills, they are confident to use that piece of information on their own. They can be independent when they have learned from us. And then after that, they will be satisfied with the knowledge and skills that we have provided with them, and they will come back for more from us. Yeah, that is what we want. That completes the cycle of lifelong learning. So, talking about education, we have to go back to basics. Education should make a person a better person. From the moment they step into our class until they leave our class, they should be improving in terms of not knowing to being knowledgeable, from not being able to do something to being skillful, and from being ignorant to being very compassionate. So this is what we want to see in our students. And as Islamic education teachers, we have to remember the 4 T's that we need to do in Islamic education that will provide a holistic experience for our students. We have to remember to do our ta'dib, our tarbiyah, our ta'lim, and at the end of the day, our students will know what taqwa really means. Because in Islam, education is about improving our deen. It's about making us a better Muslim, so that we can be more purposeful in life here and the hereafter, inshallah. All right. So I would like to leave you with this last words. Technology will never replace teachers, but teachers who don't use technology will be replaced. Teachers with heart, passion, and compassion will forever be in place. So I would like to thank you. My name is Rose Maliza. You can call me Rose, and you can reach me and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Rose Maliza. Thank you very much, organizers, and I'm happy to take any questions after this. Yes, I will stop screen sharing, and inshallah, I hope to have more conversations after this. Thank you, organizer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rose, for sharing us a very starting from how education should give an experience to the teacher, and then also the personalized education, the curriculum, and also the meaningful assessment, and then also the meaningful face-to-face meeting at the end of the day, and also the transformations of teachers from classical teaching and learning processes into online teaching and learning processes. And we will have, of course, we will have so many questions to Dr. Rose at the end of the session, but we will have the next speaker coming after Dr. Rose. We will come back to Dr. Rose later on. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming to the last keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker for today is Mr. Ramdhani Tahrowi, PhD. Mr. Ramdhani, can you hear my voice? Hello, Mr. Ramdhani, can you hear my voice? Dr. Ramdhani, can you hear my voice? Are you still with us? Hello, Dr. Ramdhani.
Hello.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ramdhani Tahrowi is also a faculty members of International Islamic University of Malaysia. He has been graduated from International Islamic University Malaysia in 2010, taking the PhD students. And then he has so long experience in research and also teaching and also other things that related to the publication. Ladies and gentlemen, I have, wow, so long CV of our last keynote speaker of the day. Okay, I would like probably to mention some important research and also consultancy. So he has the one of the publication on the expansiveness and the understanding of Islamizations of human knowledge from the perspective of academic and administrative staff and students in IIUM. This is one of his publication. All right. So, Dr. Ramdhani Tahrowi, the time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Mr. Dapsy, organizers of this seminar, all the brothers, students, academics, once again, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to every one of you.
Good morning. Excuse me, Dr. Tahrowi, can you turn on your camera?
Okay. I thought it is on. How about now?
I still couldn't see your camera monitor on my screen.
And now, because it appears in my computer, it says camera is on.
Okay, yeah, just go on. We will help with the technical assistant.
Okay, all right. You know, it is not very fortunate to be the last one, because the points will be all taken, highlighted by the previous speakers, my colleagues. Therefore, and being the last minute comer to replace another colleague is not also helping much. But anyway, I will try to make some notes, and after that, I will also make some recommendations to wrap up what the brothers and our colleagues have mentioned in their respective presentations. First of all, let me highlight the following. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic, the world was already living in a learning crisis. So education did not suffer only by December 2019. According to the learning poverty indicator of the World Bank, 53% of children of the world were not able to read and understand simple text by age of 10. This shows that it is just an indicator of the trouble and the problem that the world is facing in terms of education, even before the emergence of the pandemic of COVID-19. Brothers and sisters, COVID-19 is not an Islamic issue. It is an intercontinental, it is an international crisis. I would also like to say that COVID-19 is not an issue or a pandemic that touches the lives of the underdeveloped countries, but it is for all humanity, all the world, including the superpowers. Actually, according to the statistics, the superpowers in the United States of America, France, Spain, Russia, and of course, to some extent, Brazil are the worst impacted countries because of the problem of COVID-19. So we are part of it, we are facing it, but we are not the only one who is suffering from it. Brothers and sisters, I have heard the presentations of my colleagues, and I'm impressed by the rosy picture that some of my friends, my colleagues, have portrayed for technology. But according to reports, the COVID-19 have shown that the teacher can never be replaced by the technology. And that the social experience students have in the physical setup of the school or the educational institution is irreplaceable, can never be replaced by the online or the remote learning alternative. The other point which I would like to to highlight is that the COVID-19 shouldn't be exaggerated in terms of impact. Yes, it is impacting our lives in the last 6 months, that's true. Yes, it has impacted the educational experience in all over the world, that's true. 370 million children, or even more, are not attending schools, 24% of the world population. That's the number of students who are staying at home. That's a big deal. But to say that the post-COVID-19 is bleak and that we are going to face a new world, that is a bit of exaggeration, because the entire world is looking for cure. And I have heard from my respected speakers before that in many countries, the efforts to develop a cure or antivirus for the COVID-19 is underway. So I'm a little bit optimistic that we, instead of looking at the world in a new picture, or depict the world and education in general in new picture, we need to look at it in a different way. We have to divide it into 3 phases. The phase of coping with the COVID-19. Number 2, the management or managing the continuity of the school system during the crisis. And number 3, the post-COVID-19 that is to improve and accelerate the learning. For me, from my perspective, that's how we look at it, because I'm so optimistic that soon or later the humanity will find a cure to this virus, because it is not only about education. The economy, which has become the most important factor in the international relations, in the success, in the politics, in
Hello, Dr. Tahri, can you hear my voice? Because I could not hear your voice recently.
how about now?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. How long you missed? How many minutes you missed? Hello? Hello?
Hello, I think we missed like the last paragraph of your talk.
Yeah. I was saying that there is still some good news
Yeah.
with regard to COVID-19 and education.
Yes.
This good news is that according to the World Bank, in a very recent report,
Yes.
the potential impacts of COVID-19 crisis, 140 countries have implemented some type of remote learning. 120 countries have implemented multi-platform strategies, combining online tools with SMS, radio, TV, and distribution of printed material. The next point that I want to highlight is my colleagues touched upon Islamic education, or you can call it also Islamic studies. And they try to describe some solutions to the situation it finds itself in. Let me be frank with everyone. Islamic education or Islamic studies may be probably one of the most or the worst impacted academic programs and also institutions because of the COVID-19. You may ask me why you are making such very big statement. And the answer is, that's because of the character of Islamic education itself. Education in Islam is based on the face-to-face experience. Because Islamic education is not about delivering knowledge, and this was touched upon by Dr. Rosmaliza as well as my colleague, Prof. Dr. Ibrahim, when he spoke about classical methods of teaching. That's true. Islamic education is based on face-to-face, because Islamic education is about the change of the behavior. It's about the building of the personality. So knowledge is just one part, small part of a bigger experience between the learned and the learning person, between the teacher and the student, the master and the student. So now we are deprived from this. Yes, we can see each other online. We will have a webcam and we will have a voice facility. But it is not about seeing each other again. It is not about the conversation only. It's about the minute to minute. It is about the day to day. It's about the observance of the behavior and the progress and development of the personality. So where the teacher will have an impact, we will have always some insight, some contribution. So it is like the mother and her kids. It's like the father and his kids. So it is continuous. It's not about one moment. It is not about 1 hour like we do right now in the online and the remote distant learning. So I agree, it is a big challenge. And that's why I don't see the remote learning as an alternative. I see it as a solution that is temporary only. It solves the problem at this juncture, but it is not expected to solve the problem forever or for a long period of time. That's why, again, I'm optimistic that this situation is temporal and we will go back to normalcy. Teacher is a human being, student is a human being, and they need to be close to each other, they need to see each other, and we have to find solution for the COVID-19, and I think that it will be found, inshallah. That's one point. So, I have a little comment on Dr. Ibrahim when he touched upon these classic methods of teaching, and he mentioned about the Middle East syndrome, in which the people of the Middle East have knowledge, but they don't have technology expertise. I think that is a bit of old judgment. Right now, if we go to the United Arab Emirates and also to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and other countries. Recently, I was in Oman. I have seen a different scene. It is no longer the Islamic University of Medina and Al-Azhar University and Kulliyah of Sharia in Jordan. That is not the experience of teaching in the Middle East. The Middle East is going through a very big transition in terms of the usage of technology and the lot of funds. There are millions and billions of funds just for this purpose of the adaptation and adoption of technology in the teaching and learning. This doesn't mean that we are happy with that, because once again, let us put it clear that we believe that Islamic studies, Islamic education in particular, has a very large, very wide concept. It is not about learning through the delivery of knowledge only. It is bigger than that. So I agree with Dr. Rosmaliza when she mentioned about the prioritizing experience over the delivery of knowledge. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. However, when it comes to assessment, because she suggested 5 steps, space, public, curriculum, science, for the individual. I have a problem with the assessment. Exam centers. It is going to be very difficult to have
yang link di atas. Oke, coba.
When it comes to remote learning. Now, I have few recommendations to give to my colleagues in this seminar. One of them is the adoption of effective crisis recovery strategies as the basis for long-term improvement, which will involve. So we have to take the mental of crisis recovery. So we have to wear that. We have to believe that this is a crisis and we need to recover from this crisis through the adaptation of a few strategies, among them rebuilding educational system on stronger and more equitable than before, a system that closes learning gaps for all children. Right now, in the developing countries and the poor countries, including many of the Muslim world, countries, there is a big gap between institutions as well as between the private sector and public sector, and also between the people in the rural areas, the people in the cities, and so on. So there is a need now to fill the gap, to reduce the gap that is existing right now. Number two, we are now calling remote learning. What we call it remote learning right now must be the basis for more individualized continued learning process that ensures all kids
Sorry, I couldn't hear to your presentation again. Can you unpin or unmute your audio?
Yes, it was, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's clear now. Thank you.
Okay. I was saying that my suggestion number 3 is to improve the connectivity and educational technology readiness. And I said that it is so nice to talk about how good these facilities like Zoom meeting and other free accessible outlets. But how many among us are owning computer, and how many in Muslim world, especially the poor and developing countries, have an internet connection? So no matter how it is good, it is still for the elite. It is only for those fortunate people. Still in the villages, even in some countries, like developed countries, there is a problem in terms of connectivity and so on. So it is nice to dream, but we have to be also practical and rational. We are quite far from the situation where people can own a computer and have internet connection. The allocation for education, the annual education the cost of annual education for the child in the poor countries is $150. In the developing countries is 1,500 US dollars per year. And in the developed countries, it is 6 times. So it is more than 7,000 US dollar per year. So the gap is so wide. So this Zoom meeting and other gadgets will probably be beneficial and good for the children in developed countries, rich countries, including the Middle East, by the way. But for the remote villages in Indonesia or in Kyrgyzstan or in Africa, it is a big ask. I also recommend improvement in teachers' training in digital skills. This is, although we advocate the face-to-face learning and the social experience, still everyone needs to get knowledge and skills when it comes to computer literacy and technology, including the Islamic studies teachers and students. So there is a need to improve, because who knows, now
Okay. I'm sorry, Dr. Tahri.
And
You could not. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear it clearly now. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm very sorry for these interruptions. I was saying that the improvement of digital skills training programs for teachers and students as well. Uh, Improvement in the use of artificial intelligence softwares. I think here Dr. Rosmaliza knows better than me what means the artificial intelligence softwares and who is doing that. The question is, are we involved in this effort in the Muslim world? Do we have laboratories? Do we have companies, private and public, who are involved in the production of softwares related to artificial intelligence in order to support the classic learning? I spoke about school without wall concept, through which the digital or remote learning will be supporting the classic learning experience. These measures, I believe, will surely require resources, financial in particular. That's why sometimes we have to be careful when we go into the fantasy of proposing solutions. But when it comes to the implementation, the execution of those solutions, you will face the issue of resources and financial resources in particular. It's a very difficult commitment for economies of the developing countries to execute such solutions, especially in what is expected to be a long period of recession after the COVID-19, because all of these economies were brought to their knees, and it is unavoidable for economies in the worldwide, including the poor and developing countries, to have recession. So the cost, but let us be also clear, the cost of inaction, when there is no action, the cost of it is going to be immense and much larger than trying to do something. Finally, remote learning must be kept as an integral part of the curriculum and not just a short-term response to the COVID-19 crisis. Why? Because this will allow the education sector to increase its resilience to future shocks. I mentioned that there is a chance, there is a big probability, even after the COVID-19 crisis is overcome, is over, we will have another flood, we will have another virus, we will have another calamity in the horizon. So better to be ready than be taken by surprise, like we have done what happened in December 2019. Brothers and sisters, these are my notes and my recommendations. I'm very sorry for the lapses, for the disconnections, but I hope that at least we can wonder about these notes, and we will listen to the questions, and hopefully we will learn from our colleagues, inshallah. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Very much, Dr. Tahri, for the recapping and also giving addition to the information that has been given and delivered by our previous speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the question and answer session. I would like to have several questions which has been collected by the committee from the Microsoft Teams chat and also from the streaming YouTube. The first question is probably come to Dr. Ahmad Salim. This is the question, Dr. Ahmad Salim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ayuha Fadia Anisa from Islamic Education Alma Ata University. I have a question about education in coronavirus. would it be effective to go to school during the corona pandemic? And some areas in the green zone have adapted school with a face-to-face system. What is your opinion, Dr. Ahmad Salim? This is the first question for you. Thank you. Hello, Dr. Ahmad Salim. Are you with me?
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Did you hear my speaking?
Yes, it's
Yes. Okay. Maybe I will answer the questions by bilingual language, yeah, because there's questions from Indonesia student. Actually, government is just the role, a new role that says from agreement from religious ministry and educational national ministry and social ministry maybe, yeah, in Tuesday, yeah. That's is just that's many school maybe that they or government maybe classifies the places in Indonesia into too many classifieds. The first maybe in green zona, and then in orange zona, red zona, and maybe in yellow zona. But the interesting one is in green zona maybe. In zona green zona, maybe the school, especially in junior high school to senior high school and vocational school, maybe can open by maybe in the night of July. But of course, the opening school by face to face must attend any protocol coronavirus protection or be like that. So the one of the condition must be have the agreement from dinas dari dinas pendidikan. So have agreement from the parent, yeah, in this area. Of course, also must have to agreement from religious or religious people. I mean, from religious leader in the community. It's to the madrasah. Yeah. We call madrasah in Indonesia maybe different from Malaysia and from Thailand. Yeah. There are, because in Indonesia there is a madrasah. Beside there is a school from elementary school until maybe university. So we have the madrasah from the beginning level or elementary level to and the university level. Madrasah it is maybe madrasah ibtidaiyah, madrasah sanawiyah, madrasah aliyah, and others. Nah, I will say in bahasa Indonesia. Jadi zona yang hijau itu memang diperbolehkan untuk memperbuka sekolahnya itu pada besok pertengahan Juli. Tapi dengan syarat tadi yang saya katakan dengan memperhatikan protokol COVID-19 begitu, dan juga harus ada persetujuan dari dinas, baik dinas tingkat kabupaten, kemudian juga orang tua dan juga beberapa pemangku kebijakan di wilayah tersebut, baik mungkin dari pemangku kebijakan wilayah seperti ulama, kemudian juga beberapa pemangku kebijakan seperti ketua RT ataupun beberapa yang menangani gugus tugas COVID-19 di wilayah masing-masing. Ketika itu bisa, ketika itu semua sudah merasa atau sudah boleh dilaksanakan, mereka setuju, maka persekolahan itu bisa dibuka face to face. Tetapi juga dengan memperhatikan beberapa kondisi, yaitu seperti di sekolah harus ada hand sanitizer, kemudian cuci tangan, pun juga pakai masker, dan juga nanti dari sisi perjalanan juga harus jelas siapa yang mengantar, kemudian siapa yang menjemput, dan itu pun hanya sekarang ini di bulan Juli sampai bulan September itu adalah diperuntukkan bagi sekolah tingkat SMP, junior high school to senior high school. Kemudian nanti kalau sudah itu berjalan normal ataupun sudah dianggap baik, maka pada berikutnya di bulan September di zona hijau itu bisa dibuka untuk sekolah di elementary school level, ya. SD in Indonesia ICSD or Madrasah Ibtidaiyah, dan juga PAUD, ya, elementary school, ya, itu. Kemudian untuk di ya, oke. Dan yang terakhir itu adalah untuk zona kuning, merah, dan oranye, itu semua memang dilakukan harus dengan e-learning atau daring. Maybe there is my answering from the question. So maybe if there are any question, I will repeat again in next future. Sorry, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad Salim. I would like to inform all of you that one of our keynote speaker, Dr. Rosmalia, has to leave us earlier at 11 p.m., 11 a.m. I mean, and then that is why we will give the opportunity to Dr. Rosmalia to answer some question that is recorded by the committee. So I would like to ask your permission to Professor Dr. Ibrahim and also Dr. Rui to give the question to Dr. Rosmalia first. So this is we have two highlighted question to Dr. Rosmalia. The first one is this is written in Bahasa. I would like to read the Bahasa first and translate it in English. Assalamualaikum, saya Saila Manura ingin bertanya kepada Ibu Rose. Bagaimana cara pre-service teachers membuat pembelajaran lebih menarik dan efektif sehingga tidak membosankan untuk peserta didik selama belajar daring? Soalnya dalam proses daring ini mungkin sangat susah untuk memantau kefokusan siswa. So let me help you to translate into English. Dr. Rose, the question is how, as a teacher, we can create or design material which can help the participant or the students to get their focus to the material. As we know that teaching and learning process, online teaching and learning process, it is very hard for us to control the students' motivations and also the students' engagement to the teaching and learning process itself. Dr. Rose.
Okay. Thank you for the question, ya, Sheila Manora. Terima kasih. Teaching online is not easy. It can be very exhausting because you don't have the opportunity to interact with your students face to face. Because when you interact face to face, you absorb their energy, right? When you do online teaching, it is not transferring your face-to-face class exactly putting it online. It's not. It takes a whole lot of redesign. But at the point of time, since it is an emergency kind of thing we have to do. My tip is, number one, when you have synchronous class, maksudnya jumpa student secara langsung, ya, live session like this, keep it short, not more than 1 hour, and make it interactive. Ask the students to respond in the chat box and then have some activities, some questions for them to respond to you. Okay? Don't have 2-3 hour lecture. No, that is a big no-no. You can also do a 40-minute session, 45 minutes. The thing is, when you do live like this, you have to make sure that what you deliver is straight to the point. There is no bunga-bunga. There's no additional going around the bush. No, you have to deliver directly. Okay, and then supplement with asynchronous activities, like you have them read some materials first before joining, have them do some exercises and all that, because keeping focus online is not easy, because you're not there to keep them engaged. But for you to keep them engaged, is you have to have your video on, and then you have to have interactive, make them talk, make them type in things into the chat box. So that's how you keep their focus more in online sessions. All right, I hope that answers your question, Sheila. Okay, next, any more questions?
Yeah, I think we still have one more question. Thank you, Dr. Rosman, for
Okay.
giving us a very brief and clear explanation about how to keep the student engagement into our class. The next question for you is from Ibu Yani from Stikas Madani, Jakarta. The question for Dr. Rosmalia is there any experience of you of specific workshop for teachers in using technologies? As you know, the last 3 months, maybe teachers use what they know or what they have for teaching just the way it is. But now when COVID is still going on, it needs to be more seriously studied in the using, I mean, uh, seriously studied of using technologies. But in fact, some or many teachers are still unfamiliar with the GS or cohort or other application or that we use for teaching online. Maybe you can share us how you give training for teachers about this instead of teachers should autodidactly learning. I mean, okay, so in brief, the question is, do you have any suggestions of any teaching online application, things like that?
All right. In Malaysia, it is very, very active right now. Online seminars for teachers, there's a lot. Like every day, there will be at least 2 or 3 that I know of. We do online sessions like this, where we teach teachers how to use certain tools, and teachers can sign up, because the technology, the educational technology community in Malaysia is very strong. So there are a lot of workshops that we do online, like every day 1 hour workshops, 1 hour workshops to teach teachers on how to use certain tools, for example, or for me on how to design your lessons so that it is, it can get the student engagement. So if you can get together the community of educational technologists who are more familiar with the tools, you can have free online sessions like this. It can be done via Microsoft Teams, via Zoom, via Facebook Live, via YouTube Live. So there's a lot of this going on in Malaysia. We help the teachers a lot, and at the same time, the ministry also provides training for teachers. Universities provide training. Each university would have their center for teaching and learning, and they have regular courses for the lecturers and for teachers. For outside, it's open to public. And then there will always be sharing sessions by, independent trainers and all that online, and you can just sign in for longer workshops. Perhaps if you want to engage in a 2 or 3 day workshop, maybe the tools are more and things like that. There's a minimal fee that you pay. So that's how we do it here in Malaysia. And usually we will open to international community as well. If you are on Facebook, you can find this group, Learning Innovation Circle. I'm going to type into the chat box. Facebook group called the Learning Innovation Circle, and you can join this Facebook group, and there's a lot of resources there. You can chat and also learn from a lot of experts in instructional technology, educational technology. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Rose, it seems that we have so many questions coming to you, but unfortunately we don't have enough time to answer the whole question. But before you leave the meeting, I would like to.
If you want.
One more.
Yeah, one more.
Okay.
And then I have, yes.
or I think it will be take too long time to answer the question. Otherwise, we also have one important message from our head of the department, which is Dr. Ahmad Salim itself. So I would like to give the last speech or the last goodbye from Dr. Ahmad Salim to you.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Ahmad Salim, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe thank you very much from Mr. Chike who give me ask again. Actually, what the important thing that's after that, after that next we will do. Of course, I will suggest to all the speaker that's joining here from to Dr. Rose Maliza and also Professor Dr. Ibrahim from Prince Songkla University, Thailand, I'm sorry, and to Dr. Ramdan from International Islamic University Malaysia also. Maybe I will suggest, or maybe hopefully we will can collaborate our curriculum to your curriculum university maybe, because we think that educational or Islamic education is have a problem, yeah, with that condition. So, like Rosmaliza Doctor says previously, that's we can improve our problem by usually restructuration of our curriculum. So maybe I will suggest, or I will hopefully I will very propose to you all. Maybe we can get together to modify our curriculum by take together Alma Ata University and Malaysia University and Peninsula University to rethinking about our curriculum. So our curriculum, especially about Islamic educational, can facing to in the next future, especially about maybe to facing about coronavirus or COVID-19, maybe like that. So after that, maybe after that, not only in that seminar, maybe we will be join, but I also have suggestions or also have happily that we can also can make join together in writing or in research together with any subject academic maybe with Alma Ata lecture and many lecture from your university maybe like this. Maybe like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmad Salim. So I think that is the message from Dr. Ahmad Salim to all of the speakers who are joining us today. That he is hoping that in the future we can have more collaboration activity, something like designing the new curriculum, facing this pandemic, and also working together in joint publication and so on and so forth. So Dr. Rosmalia, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. I had fun, and inshallah we'll see each other again soon, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Rosmalia from International Islamic University of Malaysia has just left us to do another meeting. So we still have another question for another speakers. I would like to take our time to the next question. The next question is probably for Professor Dr. Ibrahim from Prince of Songkla University, Patani campus. Yeah, the question is coming from, let me check the chat first. Yeah, okay. The question is coming from our students from Alma Ata University, Arif Jaya. The question is, What must we do so that we can survive in Islamic education against the COVID-19 in the new normal period? Professor Dr. Ibrahim, are you still with us?
Yeah, salam.
Yes. So the question again is,
Yeah,
what
it's
must
okay.
we do?
It's okay.
Yes.
I try to conclude uh, how to survive. I mean, how to make Islamic education survive after COVID-19. I would just, it's very simple because as I mentioned, I talked earlier that now it seems that Islamic study as well as Islamic education is not like before, which is highly respected by the community. But what we can solve the problem, and of course we relate to our future survival, is the methods. Only two words, very short word. The method should be hybrid methods like Dr. Ms. Kamaluddin from International Islamic University, and the integration in content. You see, please listen carefully. Hybrid in methods, integration in content. And of course, we have many explanation about hybrid. You know why when we watch TV, we can be the whole day in front of TV, but when we are in seminar, only 1 hour. So which means that our future method of teaching should be at least similar to have been presented by TV, which means university has to invest a lot. At least we can compare with the presentation of TV and integration of method, which means that when we study, we gain the knowledge from the content as well as we have skill for our future work. Wallahu a'lam bissawab.
Okay. Thank you very much. In facing the effect of the COVID-19 or facing the new normal, Dr. Ibrahim said that we have to create the hybrid method for the teaching and learning processes and also an integration content to keep our students get their interest to the topic itself. Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim. And then we can now come to the next question. We have another question from our students. I think we can ask this question to Professor Dr. Tahwi. Dr. Tahwi, the question is, this is, are you still with us, Dr. Tahwi?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the question is, when pray time is come, which one is better, pray by yourself or pray together in small mosque when we have rest for study in COVID-19 period? So this is more to like social step that we have to take during this pandemic. Whether in Malaysia, you still do the like prayer together, or you do the prayer like separately in your own house or things like that as students, because probably some of them are quarantined in their homes or on their dormitory and so on and so forth.
Thank you very much. Although the question is not very academic, it sounds like a mufti question. Nevertheless, I will try my best to answer this question. In Malaysia, regarding the experience of the country here, you know, the pandemic goes through stages. The first stage when it goes up until it reaches the peak. So in Malaysia, the peak was somehow by the end of March 2020. And during that period of time, the government issued, very hard MCO lockdown procedure where everyone should stay home, and people were not allowed to go out unless there is a very immediate emergency. and within 10 kilometers space. So if the police or the army who were dispatched outside find the person without such restrictions, there is a punishment, there is a penalty, including jail or financial penalty. That was during the peak. So with regard to Salat, definitely Salat and surahs and mosques were all closed down, and people were supposed to pray at home. Except for the azan or the call for the prayer, it was done from the masjids for some people, the official responsible of the mosque. So that's the first during the peak. But after that, the development of the pandemic started to flatten, and the government started to reduce the restrictions and to relax them. And one of the measures taken last month was to allow not more than 30 persons to pray in the masjid. So for the last month, believers or faithful can go to the masjid. If they are lucky enough, they will be among the 30 people who will conduct the prayer with measures of distancing. So there is a distance between the people during the salat. Most recently, last 10 days, the government opened up the masjids more, but at this time for the Malaysians only. So if you are not Malaysian, you cannot go and conduct your daily prayers in the masjid. Like in my case, I'm not Malaysian, I'm international. I still pray at home. So that's the official way. Of course, it has been criticized by certain quarters in the country. Some people are impatient. Some people are saying that that's too much, and so on. But a lot of people are also understanding the measures and the reasons why they are taking it. From pure Islamic perspective, without reference to Malaysia or any other country, of course, during the pandemic time, when it is at its peak, it is recommendable that Muslims pray at their own places. Because according to the hadith, Sallu fi rihalikum, Sallu fi rihalikum, which means don't go to the place of worship if there is a pandemic. Like the very classic example is the ta'un of Imwas, which happened during the time of Sayyiduna Umar ibn al-Khattab anhu, and in which thousands of people died, including a lot of companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imwas is a place in Jordan, present Jordan. So during that time, people were were advised to pray at their own place and without mixing with those who are having the ta'un. So from Islamic perspective, pure Islamic neutral perspective, if there is a pandemic like this, of course, the cure is not the priority. The priority is to avoid getting the virus or getting the disease. And I believe that in the peak, yes, it is very correct, it is very right for the authorities of any country in the Muslim world to avoid any worsening of the situation by allowing people to mingle and pray together in the masjid. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tahri. And the next question pertaining about that statement is that previously we have discussing about how a curriculum should be designed to face the future, to face the new normal after this pandemic, and then how assessment should be designed also in a meaningful way. And if we refers to Professor Dr. Ibrahim, that we have to design a smart curriculum. So as a university faculty member, what should we do probably to prepare that curriculum, that suitable curriculum in the future? Can we collaborate together? I mean, among the university in Southeast Asia, for example, creating some massive open online course, for example, together, so that our students can learn not only from our university, but also from the university, from our partner university across the world. And we can probably start from Southeast Asia, Dr. Tarwi.
Thank you very much for this question. It is very important to be proactive and think about the solutions. And as I said before, we never know. Maybe another pandemic will happen. Maybe another wave of COVID-19 will come back again. So yeah, thinking ahead and finding solutions even before the need arises is important. Now, regarding the collaboration between institutions of learning at the higher education, I think it is not related to COVID-19 only. It should have been done even before COVID-19. If we think that we are doing the same job and we have some resemblance in our mission and vision, for example, the International Islamic University in Malaysia, Al-Ma'ata University Islamic Studies sector, also in Thailand and Indonesia. If we have something in common, and I think we have a lot, so there is no harm. In fact, it is an obligation to have visiting scholars and cooperation between the 3 institutions or 4 institutions. However, the online course or online diploma or any other form of cooperation is very much encouraged during these extraordinary circumstances. I think sometimes some teachers, especially the old generation, probably they have difficulty to cope with remote distance learning. Therefore, maybe they will not be able to render their services to their mother institution. Therefore, maybe in another institution, there are young people who are, literate in technology. Therefore, they will be able to replace those old generation people who are not able to cope with the digital requirements. So I think that's a must. And probably this platform that we have today, the seminar of today, can be the seed for a real project of cooperation between our institutions. And if I talk on behalf of our faculty of education here, we are very open to cooperation. In fact, we are looking for partners from Southeast Asia as well as other parts of the world. So yes, it is a big yes. We should cooperate. We should find chances and opportunities for working together in terms of programs, in terms of diplomas, in terms of teaching courses together and exchanging expertise. Thank you.
Dr. Tahri, thank you very much for the very brief and clear statement that in the future we don't have any choice. We have to collaborate with the others. Otherwise, we can probably get collapsed. So I would like to check and go to our second speaker, Professor Dr. Ibrahim, to give his opinion about this issue of collaboration, and also probably Dr. Ibrahim can also share us a little bit about how Prince of Songkla University Patani campus give their training processes to the scholars in terms of high-tech technology, and then how Prince of Songkla University designed the smart curriculum, and how Prince of Songkla University view the collaboration in education. So, Dr. Tahri, thank you. We will back to you later on. Professor Dr. Ibrahim, can you hear me? Hello, Professor Dr. Ibrahim. Okay. While waiting Professor Dr. Ibrahim to join us, I can probably invite again Dr. Ahmad Salim to give his opinion or his idea about the future curriculum, the future smart curriculum, the hybrid method, the integration content, the collaboration in education between Alma-Ata University, IIUM, PSU, and other university in the world. Dr. Ahmad Salim, can you give your opinion? Thank you.
Okay, maybe I will conclude my topic. Yeah. The most important thing that we will thinking about our curriculum is how our curriculum can improve or can overcome to facing the uncertainty condition like this situation. As we know, that this condition, I mean, coronaviruses or COVID-19, make all people, student or maybe a teacher, shock. They are very afraid. They feel uncertainty. They are very unexpected this condition. So of course, we as academic, I mean, we must thinking about our curriculum. We must have to thinking about innovative curriculum that we can support or to meet the need of students learning. And then I do agree with Rose Mali's suggestions that our curriculum is hybrid curriculum, I think. So we also must attend to the poor family student condition, of course. Like we have to know about the student who they lack of the quota, for example, how we can do what this condition. Of course, we must usually thinking about this condition. Hybrid curriculum, I mean, is we can combine online curriculum and to maybe face curriculum. Of course, face curriculum by protocol. I bet what's protocol COVID-19. Yeah. So we know rethinking. No one predict this condition will be finished. Okay. No one can predict this condition will be finished. So of course, this may be this fair to era. Fair to era. The fair to era is we must usually develop our digital technology to develop our curriculum, so we can transfer our teaching material about skill, about effective, about maybe knowledge to our student effectively. I think like that. Thank you very much.
Okay, Dr. Ahmad Salim, thank you very much for the statement and also for the conclusions of the topic today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to check if Dr. Ibrahim is still with us or not. Dr. Ibrahim, are you still with us?
My turn.
Yes. So can you give us like your view and also your perspective toward future collaboration between probably Prince of Songkla University, IIUM, and also Alma-Ata University toward the smart curriculum and then hybrid methodology, integrate content in the future. and also at the end, the collaboration in education itself. Can you share us your point of view toward this future collaboration topic? Thank you.
Of course, we have a very concrete relation with many universities, but previously it's like we let the high technology behind, and we normally join our conference together and sit together on the same place. But alhamdulillah, this time when we more focus on hybrid and we are going to use technology in our chatting and phasing between university without going to sit on the same place. So I think this is a very good opportunity. In fact, our university, we want to work together side by side with other university. And previously, when we offer our education, we depend on our own lecturer. But alhamdulillah, in the future, of course, we need to share our resource. We may use a lecturer from many other universities to come, and then we can work together. And of course, uh, this is today maybe the starting point with your university, but in fact with other university we have been we strengthened the relationship with other university because we have signed many memorandum of understanding, so we can work together. Like IUM, International Islamic University, the place that I got my master. We have already signed a memorandum of understanding as well as the memorandum of agreement. So many things that we can work. With you and with other university, Prince of Songkla University, we are ready to work in every field, research field, academic field, as well as other field that you think is very beneficial to the humankind. I myself, even though I am a lecturer of Prince of Songkla University, but I am the member of a university council for 4 universities. And then I can bring your message to other universities so that the relationship not only with Prince of Songkla University, but with other universities, Rajapat University, Fatani University, and Narathiwat University. So I represent 4 universities on the same time. Inshallah, we can work together with you all in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ibrahim. So, well, in fact, we have the memorandum of agreement between Alma-Ata University and Prince of Songkla University, but we probably haven't done like the memorandum of agreement or letter of intent with Islamic science faculty. But we can work to fill the collaboration in the future. I think Professor Dr. Ibrahim and also Dr. Tahrui, representing Prince of Songkla University and IUN, has been agreed that this meeting can be the seed of the real and prospective collaboration in the future. And also Dr. Ahmad Salim has been agreed that we have to collaborate in the future to enhance our education quality, and then also to give the students more experience, broader experience in the future. So can we still have more time to question and answer session? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, and also the honorable speakers, I think we are coming to the end of our session, question and answer sessions. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. And then we are really appreciating your sharing and then also your open mind to share the knowledge, to give the opportunity for Alma-Ata students and also the other participants that joining us in the seminar today to share their, to broaden their point of view toward the teaching and learning processes on this pandemic. Actually, I still have one last question to all of you. The question is that I can probably ask Dr. Ahmad Salim and also Dr. Tahrui and also Dr. Ibrahim to give us his short, brief conclusion of the seminar. The question is, how long or how far do we need to adjust the situation, today's situation? I mean, from traditional teaching and learning processes into, um, let's say, high-tech teaching and learning processes using online material and so on and so forth. How far should, or how far do you think we can adjust our faculty member? And then what should we do in brief, to like fasten or to accelerate this um, situation, or this process of adjusting the traditional teaching and learning processes into high-tech teaching and learning processes? Uh, I think I would start with Professor Dr. Ibrahim first, and then Dr. Tahrui, and then the last one will be Dr. Ahmad Salim. Professor Dr. Ibrahim, can you give us the brief summary of that situation?
Okay. For me, it's not important to concern with how long it will be, but I would like to concern how much we will do our best to face. I'm very confident that the current situation that we are facing will be a short time, but the challenge which is coming very soon, that is a long term that we have to prepare. So that's why I start with my presentation with prediction. We have to predict what will be in the future. If our prediction is right, so we go faster than other. But if our prediction is wrong, so we will be left behind. But however, we try to do our best because now we are doing. But in the future, of course, we have to invest a lot in our education. We should not use the online seminar, online meeting as a passive online. We need to be alive. Life mean it's like a TV. In the future, we have to plan for that. Inshallah, our hybrid method in the future will be more interesting than we are doing now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Dr. Ibrahim, for the very brief and also very clear conclusion. Professor Dr. Ibrahim representing University of Songkla University, Rajabat University, and also Fatah University, and also the other university in Thailand. So we come to the next turn. Dr. Tahrui, please your conclusion.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Yeah. Your question about to what extent or how long we can sustain this situation in which we have remote learning and distant learning. Of course, it is not unsustainable for any institution of learning or any country to have an extended period of time in which the lockdown and the COVID-19 is still dictating the kind of action and the kind of reaction this country or this institution is doing. That is very horrible scenario. And if you can see that all over the world, countries are starting to open up, whether it is education. I have my brother in Switzerland, and I asked him about the well-being of his kids, and he told me that they are back to school. Although Europe, as you know all, is one of the worst impacted continents by the COVID-19. So countries are opening up. Spain is opening up tourism, although it is still very risky decision. and France, Italy, other places, even football. Even the football countries are going back to this because it is an industry. It is also involving billions of dollars. So it is not sustainable at all to continue with the lockdown. And one day or another, people, countries will open up their institutions of learning for the face-to-face experience. However, I agree with Prof. Ibrahim that we need to be proactive and start working for a shift in our thinking about our educational experience. How do we perceive the experience of education? Is no longer going to be that safe and normal as usual attitude. No, we have a lot of risks coming in the future, and we need to work hard from now in order to come up with solutions, including cooperation that we have highlighted just before this question. So we need to work on the curriculum. We need to create committees. I think one of humble suggestions is that after this seminar, there is the International Islamic University represented by the Kuliya of Education, and there in Almaty University and also in Thailand. There must be some effort in order to highlight, to define what are the needs, what are the areas in which they have the need or they have the expertise. And they submit it to a kind of secretariat that brings us together. So we will know the strength of Songla University. You will know the strength of ours and also the Kazakhstan University. So if we can create such seed, that's even much better than having 3 or 4 hours discussion, but there is no solution in the future. Thank you very much.
It takes longer time than it should. Thank you very much, Dr. Tahri, for a very clear statement and also perspective about the future things after this new normal. I mean, the new things, what is like after this new normal, that we have to collaborate, we have to put and together our strength, each of the university, to create a new things that will be the role model of the new after new normal life. Thank you, Dr. Tahri. Dr. Ahmad Salim, your conclusion, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe it is final my speaking. That's maybe I can conclude with my speaking previously. That's I said previously. No one can predict that how long this the station can be finished. Of course, and based on the framework of academic theoretical, it's human being has a feel or has a competence to adjust the situation. Of course, this situation, I mean about the image of current coronavirus or COVID-19, make all people in the world rethinking about the new normal era. They usually rethinking about how will we do in this situation, in this uncertain situation. I mean, so after that, of course, I mainly sure, I very sure that human being or people can modification or have modified their living, how to live in this situation. I mean, so maybe in the next or in the future, we will find the situation that's maybe different from the previous situation, but we can live with this condition. I think like that. So this question might be from the educational sector. Maybe we can rethinking. We can create about new method, new media, or a new curriculum that's will suitable to the different condition from the previous location. I think like that. So, and last one is I believe, I very believe, I really believe that's human being in the world, including in South Asian countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, will find the best solution when what find the best solution from this condition, so they can live with this condition. I mean, with the different condition with the privacy. I think like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad Salim. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all our seminar today. We have come to the conclusions that everybody will need to find the best solutions to face the new normal, and most importantly, to find the best thing to do after the new normal period. We don't need to come back to the previous or traditional teaching and learning processes. We have to get going, and we have to thank coronavirus in this situation that corona has triggered us to become more high-tech society. Corona has triggered us to provide a better online education, which is probably suitable to the people in the today's era, and we have to thank corona for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all our seminar today. I would like to thank to Dr. Ahmad Salim from Almata University, Dr. Rose Maliza, and also Dr. Tahrawi from International Islamic University of Malaysia, and also the Honorable Professor Dr. Ibrahim from Prince of Songkla University, Patani campus. Thank you very much for your participation. Let me close our meeting by saying Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillahirobbilalamin.
Very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mm-hmm.